I had this muscle memory of being calm, positive, this charismatic leader. And in reality, this is who I've been for many years. And yet, when I betray myself like any other regular human being, when I abandon my code or when I break my own core values, I could still throw on the smile, tell myself and everyone else that I was fine. And the problem here is that I started to believe my own act. Let me ask you a question. What if your greatest strength, your ability to hold it all together, is the very thing that's keeping you trapped in the war within? Look, this isn't about the burnout that's so obvious that you can see coming. This is not about that breakdown that even the people around you can actually point to. This is about the war that you can't even admit to yourself. The high achiever's mask is so good at convincing us, so good at convincing ourselves that we fool ourselves because we know how to look good. We know how to act good. We know how to perform peace. But underneath, we're not actually peaceful. We're actually leaking our life energy with this quiet hum of unrest, and it's slowly draining us dry of our aliveness. For me personally, I didn't realize how talented I was at compartmentalizing my pain. The muscle memory of masking that pain with leadership, with positivity, with energy, with calmness. As much as I meant those things, it was keeping that war within hidden from my own self. It kept me from noticing all the little subtle ways I was betraying myself. All the tiny little choices that were forms of self-abandonment, that were ways of letting my boundaries slide and being out of alignment with the things that I say matter to me. This is so important because even my wife Janet couldn't even see it. And now I want to share something personal with you, but this is not necessarily a recommendation that you should do this also. But for me, along my spiritual path, I had done many different ceremonies with plant medicines to explore what was happening underneath that I didn't realize was happening. And it was only within this space where I was actually able to feel the physical weight of all the self-hatred that I had buried, that I tucked away in a tiny little corner. It was only then that I was actually able to feel how sickening, how awful, how heavy, how dark it is to keep criticizing myself, to judge myself, to beat myself up at such an intense level. It was so deep in there, I couldn't see it in my day-to-day life. It took being in this powerful ceremonial space with plant medicines, these sacred medicines, to be able to uncover, oh my gosh, this is what I've been carrying. My mask of self-control, this spiritual arrogance of like, I'm calm, I know myself, I meditate, I take time in nature, I journal. Like this spiritual arrogance just blinded me from what was really going on. Like in reality, it took 3, 4, 5 ceremonies of hours and hours and hours of agony to finally acknowledge and purge and release and free myself from how vicious I'd become to my own self. This internal critic, this internal friction, what I call now the war within. It's amazing how physically ill it was making me. And it gave me the truth that I needed to be able to finally stand on solid ground, a solid ground of reality, to finally move forward and start the process of letting it go, start the process of ending the war within. And it's amazing because when you are positive, when you are a leader, when you do the work, when you lie to yourself, you can get away with it because you think you are so spiritual, so aware, so present, so conscious. But this is not the case. One of my clients, such a powerful story. He sobs, gripping his steering wheel in the privacy of his car on the ride home, white knuckling, and just rage and despair starting to flood through tears in his eyes while he's all alone where no one can see him. But literally he can put the car in park, step out of the car, walk through the door of his home with a smile right across his face, and an embrace with his wife, or to be the leader in his team. And no one would have any idea that merely 30 seconds, 60 seconds ago, he was in deep, deep sorrow. Up to here, not knowing what he was going to do. Underneath, fearing that he was about to unravel. And this is somebody who anyone who meets him would feel so energized, so uplifted because he's such a beautiful human being with his words, with his presence, with his love for God. Someone that people respect and admire and rely on. But here he is, secretly bearing the weight of this war within, barely holding it together. My friend, this invisible war, it doesn't just hurt you. It cheats everyone around you of the full version of you that they deserve. Now, here's the key that I want you to walk away with from this conversation today. That the war within, the theme of this entire series, is to help you realize that the war within is subtle. In many cases, it's invisible. And this, to me, is terrifying. Why? Because we can hide it from others, but even more than that, we can be so talented at hiding it from ourselves. And a reason why that happens is because there is a very understandable fear that if we look close, if we acknowledge the truth, that we might have to burn it all down, that our whole life is about to unravel, that maybe we don't know if we can get ourselves out of it. If we actually acknowledge the mess, we have no idea if we'll be able to make it out of it. But look, I know as scary as that is, it only festers if you leave it unseen. All these hacks and books and podcasts and habit stacks, all of these things can end up being distractions that bury this war within deeper and deeper. And even worse, it can even reinforce the war within. Like if you think about it, why are you trying to add all of this new knowledge, these new to-dos, these new habits, this new information, all of these things? Well, it's a way of reacting. It's a way of self-medicating. It's a way of coping with the fact that underneath something is not right. And so it reinforces the fact that there's something at a deeper level that's not being looked at. And when this war is hidden, that's how it wins. It wins by keeping you blind to it. So before we go, here's my invitation to you. If you've been carrying this quiet battle underneath the surface, if you've been performing like you're fine while deep inside you're rotting, I want you to know that you are not broken, that you are not weak. This is just a sign for you to stop lying to yourself. It's time to look beneath the mask. It's time to put the armor down, the shield down, the weapon down, and actually confront the truth of what's happening underneath. Look, when you start asking yourself questions, you start confronting truth. As a high achiever, there's a temptation that you have to act on every question, that every insight or every idea or everything that you see is something that you have to act on. But look, it's just you do need to learn to sit with it. You do need to learn to be with it and confront it. This is how you stop this vicious cycle. This is how you end the war within. You have to first stop pretending that it isn't there. Some reflection questions before we go. Where in your life are you lying to yourself just to survive the day? What's the cost of looking good while feeling dead inside? And who's getting just a fraction of the real you because you won't face what's underneath? My friend, I'm so grateful that you decided to join me today in this second episode in the Ending the War Within series. This is an honest and sacred look at what keeps high achievers like you and me stuck, burnt out, and spiritually bankrupt. If this hits home, please like, subscribe, comment, look out for the next videos, or look at the last video in this series. This could be the wake-up call that you've been ignoring. And look, if you know it's time for a space where you don't have to perform anymore, where you are ready to acknowledge the war within and you're ready to end it, then it would be an honor for you to read my book, The Daily Prosperity Method. I'll make sure that the link is available there with you below. It's a very robust toolkit. It's available in a digital book and an audio book, which I read myself. But if you want a deeper level of hand-holding, a sacred space to be with the truth that's underneath so that you can tap into your own intuition of what to do next and have someone be a mirror for you, then I would love for you to book a guidance session with me below. This is 75, 90 minutes all about you and helping you unpack what's happening at a deeper level. Would love to be of support to you in that way. Until next time, thank you so much for being with me, and God bless.